do this the raw side. So as usual, we're getting set up for the podcast today. This is the FADI-Life podcast. I have a guest speaker, good friend of mine, Ralph. I am setting up the Anchor podcast, which is how I distribute my message. So figure this thing out. Part of the reason why I'm sharing this on YouTube raw like this is so you can grow and learn with me. The message part of this is in me, so the passion is not a problem. It's learning the technology and how to actually manage the platforms themselves. So if you have any suggestions, send them. Don't be a dick, but let me know what you think. Also subscribe, and here we are. Welcome to the FADI-Life podcast. My name is Joel. I'll be your host today. I have a guest speaker this afternoon, a good friend of mine, and a guy who's been a source of inspiration for me in places that I truly wasn't expecting. I'm going to discuss today I'll have a discussion about change. We're going to discuss how change kind of jerks us. We're going to discuss change from an organizational perspective. We're going to discuss change from a personal perspective. You don't necessarily approach the two differently. And in my change management seminars and the change mastery luncheon that's coming up in January, I'll discuss the details of how to intrinsically move around change. But in today's podcast, we're going to talk about how change can impact us. And the reason that it's important to understand how change impacts us is because if you don't understand how it impacts you, then you're not going to really value the need to identify the purpose behind change. And if you're not going to value the need to identify purpose behind change, then change agents that come into your life with a purpose are going to smack you in the head. And you're going to wonder what the fuck. And in the process of wondering what the fuck, you're going to miss out on the reason. We are growth beings. We are people. People are here to grow and live. We live through experience. Experience teaches us. We also learn from books. But change is all part of that. Education changes us. Health scares change us. Health issues and challenges and cancer and diabetes and all these things change us. And there's a purpose in them. There's a purpose in it all. If you've listened to my podcast before, if you've ever talked to me before, if we've ever had a discussion on religion, understand that I'm not here to tell you who you should and shouldn't believe in, but we have a common denominator in our religious perspective, and that is that God or the universe is all good, all loving, all knowing. And the idea that it is all good, all loving, all knowing means that it's here to teach us. And that can seem like a jump, but none of you have ever been considered any one of God's adults, right? And thinking about being God's adults can seem a little awkward. People have talked about us as God's children, and there's Mother Nature, and we are the children of the earth, whether we're adults or we're, adolescents, we are the earth's children. And the reason that's important in today's discussion is because being part of a process like that, where children are learning beings, right? And at some point, some of us decide, or life helps us decide, that we don't want to learn and grow anymore. We get stunted, whether it's through drugs or a heart attack or cancer or something traumatic in your life that just stunts you somehow. That growth process, wherever it gets stunted, influences how you deal with change. The definition of the impact of change is growth. When you sit with me in a life coaching session, or you're in one of my motivational speaking seminars, we talk about a growth mindset. And the reason the growth mindset is important is because it allows you the window, the perspective to see that even the shitty things that are happening to you have a purpose. And if those shitty things have a purpose, then it gives you a moment to say, wait a minute, if there's a purpose, then I know that things are here to teach me. What are those lessons I'm supposed to learn? Even though those lessons might suck, the point is that even the shitty things have a reason. And if they have a reason, then it's something you ought to be grateful for. Not, oh man, it's awesome, I can't afford to pay my bills, or it's really fucking cool that I don't have a job right now and I'm stressed out for the holidays. I'm talking about gratitude in a way that stress, like, damn, this is some stressful shit, not having any money for the holidays. What's the purpose behind it? It's not just to make you feel stressed. An all good, all loving, all knowing entity called God of the universe wouldn't create beings that are designed for nothing. Because anywhere else in the world, things have a reason. From trees to cells. Think about all the decisions that landed you to listen to this podcast today, to watch this YouTube video. All of the things that happen, the micro choices. Deciding when to wake up, deciding how long to brush your teeth, how not long, at the bathroom, getting to work, the traffic, the lights, how many bites you took on your food. They all influence where you are right now. And where you are right now can't be an accident. Because everything happens for a reason. God didn't stub his toe, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck. Oh, I'm just in this shit. The universe isn't like, oh, we forgot about you. And that's where, that to me, in this fatty world, in this place of having an impact, that's where the faith test is, right? Are these change agents? Is this shit that we're dealing with? Is this life that we have right now? What's the purpose in it? What's it here to teach me? How is it here to make me grow? You take on a different mindset then. Then it's like, oh my God, all this shit's happening to me. You're like, fuck it. Let me figure this out. Let me get through this. This is how you deal with your fears. The raw side of this YouTube mix is a fantastic way for me to communicate my message. I feel that I can help people have an impact, and I feel that my message can help people increase the quality and the clarity of their life. My message guides people to live a purpose-driven life. The point about teaching you about change and teaching people about how to manage their life is easy for me. The hard part, the fear part, was the camera. And having the confidence to say, hey, you guys need to hear my message. One of my greatest fears, if you talked to me 6 months ago about putting a camera up and going live on YouTube, I'd have been like, yeah, fuck that. But I understand that I have to get through it because my message is important. I'm not here to tell you why you're having to deal with change. I don't know that. I'm here to help you identify the techniques that you'll need in your life to find out how you can better manage change. Because change is one of life's inevitabilities, right? Like, it just doesn't go away. You have all the money in the world. You are still going to deal with change, whether it's from a health perspective, you get sick, even if you don't ever get sick. My grandfather, rest in peace, his girlfriend is 80 something, takes no meds, a little bit of heart stuff. Healthy. Still had change, because if you're going to grow, you're going to lose people and you're going to gain people. I'm not here to tell you why people die, but I am here to explain to you and help you find a reason that you're going through that process. And it's about impact. It's a long-ass introduction.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to talk to you some more about change. I'm going to talk to you some more about impact. I'm going to talk to you about some things that have impacted me this week. And I'm going to talk to my boy about what's impacted him. This is designed to be an organic conversation. So there's no script. We're just going to talk some shit and see where it goes. Welcome, my boy Rob. Hello, baby.
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
So,
Change.
yeah, man.
Yeah, one of those tough ones, man.
Trying to figure out the camera angle here. For those of you on the podcast, you can't hear us. We're still trying to figure out the office thing. I'm trying to figure out the best way to to work this thing. Obviously, I mean, I'm starting a business, and I don't have a lot of money to start that business, and I'm trying to do what I can. And this is the office. This is where I work. This is where I live.
It's for the magic happens.
Right. One of the reasons why I have you on this first podcast is because the inspiration.
Well, tell them exactly like what I inspired you in.
All right, so
let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Nitty-gritty. So as I mentioned earlier on the podcast, the fear of the camera was something that I had challenges with.
Yeah.
And I needed somebody to push me to just take the step forward with technology. I blamed needing a millennial to get started, to teach me about Instagram. And while I needed you, and I needed the lessons you provided me, even from the hashtags, and then it became the videos and the intro, and I would have never, well, not say never, but I wouldn't have been where I am now, ready.
Yeah.
Without those experiences. And it's not just that it's the lessons that I got out of that, or that I'm here, or that we started doing the videos.
Yeah.
It's all of the things that led up to that. Like our connection is Jose.
That's what I say all the time. It's the craziest thing, because I mean, who would have known going through our friend Jose? I would have met Joel, not even knowing that Joel needed assistance with the camera, social media, and the whole 9 yards, which is what I've studied deeply. I've spent countless hours researching social media marketing, cameras, podcasting, the whole 9 yards. So then one day we meet up at Starbucks.
Here we are. That's right.
And here we are. That's exactly how it went down.
Yeah, because really, if you hadn't done the Anchor podcast, I wouldn't have done the Anchor podcast.
Yeah.
If you didn't tell me 30 hashtags.
Yeah.
Now I'm going online, I'm looking up best hashtags.
And you're seeing the difference.
That's right. I did. I'm getting 10 followers a day sometimes.
Dude,
and I'm learning the game still.
I didn't know,
okay. Man.
The crazy thing is this game, the social media game, you're never gonna learn it completely.
It hurts my feelings a little bit, dude.
Yeah, it does.
Like I'm looking at my followers, looking, I'm like, wait a minute, man, I lost 5 followers today. I didn't do shit. Where are they at?
Yeah.
And then I realized that's the game is that you follow, and then unfollow. Or is it not? Because my feelings were like I look at somebody's Instagram and I'm like, okay, you're following 200 people and you've got 15,000 followers. That's cool as fuck.
There's different tactics. Some people buy followers, but since we're trying to be organic here, it's just release content. They'll come, you put those 30 hashtags and they're coming.
So then, that's another thing with the content, Gary Vee is big thing.
By the way, Gary Vee, if you listen to this, brother.
Yeah, man.
Inspiration.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, like he says, just be organic, put out content. They're gonna come. People are gonna listen. There's somebody that needs change right now that's hopefully gonna stumble across this and be like, holy shit.
So that was a big deal for me, and I wouldn't have stumbled across Gary Vee without you. Because part of that is because surprisingly a little resistant to change. I've been following these motivational speakers for 25 years now. And now when people follow, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I already been there, done that. And Gary Vee, the content. I was like, wait a minute, I've got the content.
Yeah.
The rest of the shit, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
And then it was like, fuck it, let's go on YouTube, bro.
Let's fucking do it.
And while this is happening, I'm thinking to myself, like, geez, dude, that UFC gym that I first met Jose at.
Yeah.
Okay, so originally when the gym opened up, there was some people out front. They just sold me, whatever. And then where I was living was right around the corner. I needed someplace to punch bags. I didn't have it. I didn't go back to train. But I had a free pass to training sessions.
Okay.
I used it on Marcus.
Okay.
And Big Marcus.
Yeah, I think I've seen like twice.
And we're good in the UFC ring, and we're punching. Of course, I love that, but I'm not looking to just take rate. I want some skill set.
Of course.
And he says, go see my boy, Jose.
All right.
4 years later, Jose and I are brothers, and I've, become very skilled at the art that he's taught me. And, even from the timing of Jose needing to be at the gym for that part of his life, and Marcus to be like, yo, man, you're cool talking to me, send you to my boy, where he could have easily said, I can teach you some stuff. There's millions of things that had to take place for that to happen. And then eventually Jose ends up at the casino.
And then
we're
talking,
right,
getting to know each other, and then
they're talking some shit.
You're
like, you want to fight, right?
Yeah. Start talking a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Start talking about martial arts. He's like, hey, you should meet my boy Joel, blah, blah, blah. Finally met you. Yeah. And then I'll never forget that one day we went to West Palm, and we're there at the bar, we're ordering drinks. It was so funny because we all pulled out business cards. And for some reason, that's just a highlight in my head because it's like motivational speaker, gym owner, and entrepreneur here. For some reason that's always just been like a highlight in my head. And it's like all those leading up events, it's just like you said before in the intro, there's a purpose for it.
That's right.
Like what are the odds of we're here shooting this?
So one of my cousins is really fucking smart, man, and he believes. I haven't spoken to him in a little while about this, but he believes that everything is a statistical anomaly.
Yeah.
That the numbers would play out that way.
Okay.
So, I don't. If the numbers do play out that way, I would have to believe that something set those numbers in place.
Mm-hmm.
That we're not just here randomly, because way too much shit bounces around purposely.
Yeah.
And for us to line up like that, like you put those three people at a bar one day having a drink in West Palm, an hour from where we first started.
Exactly.
Like-minded people attract.
Exactly.
Because if you look at, like, the universe is one big bubble of energy. The things that are are going to attract to each other. And if your growth mindset is, fuck, I want to be better and I need people around me to make me better.
Of course.
And then
you put in the universe brings back.
That's right.
Because like you said, from that day, that moment of change, because what would dude, I was doing Uber Eats. I applied at the casino, like, oh, if they hire me, whatever, fuck it, if not, I'm gonna keep applying. To then go there and that change to now we're building on each other.
It's a huge deal.
It's no joke. Change is like Joel said, once you can identify what the purpose is in change, it becomes something so
that's right.
Just so powerful,
And if you know it's there to teach you,
yeah, of course.
Then it's like, because all of us have gone through a little suck. If we're going to learn something, you and I practice martial arts.
Yeah,
suck is part of that.
Yeah, of course.
But if you look at life as the same game, an illness is the knockout punch. Losing your job would be a broken arm.
Yeah,
it's not over.
It's not done, but
you're going to have to learn something different. You're going to have to master a different art. And sometimes I feel like I risk being a little preachy, but I'm in this shit too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what the purpose in all this change is and where it's supposed to take me. I just found the purpose of my life happened to be impacting others.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that I could take the fucking thing by the horns and run it.
Yeah.
I just let my life, I was going to talk about this in a few minutes when I go into talking about cancer. Dude, my life was it was amazing. And then I got sick and Justin's transplant. And the years after that, I was so foggy. I didn't realize what those things were supposed to do, that they were change agents to teach. And, I look back at that now as the suck to get me where I am now. Some tricky shit.
Sometimes you got to go through rough patches to get to.
That seems to be the deal. I mean, even now, I put on my flyer for the Change Mastery Luncheon. Different than my previous flyers where I say I'm, Joel Nagle-Wish Master Schemers, whatever. And then motivational speaker, and I put cancer survivor in it. And I struggle with that because this could sound a little fucked up.
Let me hear it.
But I don't necessarily feel like I deserve credit for beating cancer because I don't take any credit for getting it.
Okay.
You know, I went through radiation treatment. I sat in an isolation room and I was, sick and whatever. And now what happens after? You come out of fucking cancer battle and radiation, all that shit, and you're grateful, you're humble, you're trying to find some lessons in it. I think then you get a congratulations.
Yeah.
But to be a bitter asshole about it is difficult.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I say that sometimes, like, you can be a bitter asshole about it, But like, for instance, the Wish kid that I'm going to do the podcast with, or any of the Wish kids, you don't see these kids angry too much.
No, I mean,
the younger kids, you don't. The older ones, they get a little angry, but it's more angry about what they can't do, not about Parents are angry, fuck cancer, and as you should be, but kids not so much.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's part of their life.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with things that are part of your life, then you can manipulate them and move forward through them.
Yeah.
It's a big part of what I get out of the foundation. And I'm going to make a wish is the grounding part of that.
I mean, yeah, once you see things from a brighter perspective, you see the bigger picture, you're not just looking at a quarter of the portrait. You just unlock. You just become a different person.
I was such a dick, Rob. Like, I can't even do it. Oh, man. My parents sent me to military school, and I had no father. I just had no guidance.
Yeah.
And all this energy, and I was in a bad neighborhood and bad gangs and bad trouble, and that became me. So I attracted that. And that was my identity, so I attracted that. I thought that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
And once I realized, fuck, man, I could be on the other side of this.
Let's do it.
And it was just on.
Yeah, but I mean, we have a similar story. Like, I was going down a bad route too, and then I got shoved into Christian school. And, it taught me a lot. I'm not religious, just saying, guys, but just being out of that atmosphere of the bad influences, the bad gangs and all that shit, showed me a lot of things.
Right.
And that's why I am who I am today. And I mean, you can't just stay stuck on those,
Right. They have to be.
You have to see, like I said, I always use this reference. You got to see the big picture. You just have to, And if you're stuck seeing half of the picture.
This was a problem with the environment that I was in. I was in the hood, and we didn't think about our future.
It was just today,
and
no one give a fuck. Let's do it.
Because if you're thinking about the end game, or even a 5-year gain, or a 10-year gain, then you start to make decisions that impact that.
Exactly.
That's new for me too. I didn't. That caught me a lot in my marriage to Justin's mom.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think about the end game or what the relationships were going to be like. I needed that.
Yeah.
That atmosphere, but I really wasn't thinking long game.
Mm-hmm.
And coming out of that in my life now it's just bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that's because I want to have a bigger impact.
Yeah.
I can tell you, dude, none of this shit. You're going to meet at the seminar a woman named Renee Jones. I met her through the Life Alliance and Organ Procurement Agency. We do the organ donation talks.
Okay.
She's a donor mom. Her son, Trev, got fucking shot.
Shit.
And yeah, she had to donate. So she's obviously a big proponent of stop the violence. And it was a little over a year ago where she wanted to do a seminar. And I was like, listen, let's do it at the building, the Renaissance.
Yeah.
She came, she did it, and I was allowed to be a guest speaker there.
Nice.
And it energized me because I've been doing this for a long time, but there was a long time that I stopped.
Yeah.
I think that's where you fuck up. When you stop using the gifts you have, your life inherently becomes miserable.
Yeah.
Because it doles you out. We're shining lights.
Yeah, of course. Your light's not shining. You just have the light switch off, and you become a robot, And that's one thing that I've noticed when you're not doing the shit you love or the shit you enjoy. It's like you're on autopilot.
That's why you need a purpose.
Exactly.
That's why we guide people to live a purpose-driven life. Yeah. Because if you have that purpose, then you have a source of happiness.
Exactly.
A good example.
You have something to keep chasing, you know, and that's where the lines get foggy, where you're just working, but there's no end goal, and that's why a lot of people sad, depression rates through the roof, because you're not using your gifts, you know.
That's right. And that's what's interesting, right? Like if so, you have an impact whether you don't do anything or you do something.
Yeah, regardless, there's an impact. Whether it's positive or negative, it's up to you.
That's right. Are you going to be dynamic?
Yeah.
You're going to be fatty.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
So, what kind of impact you want?
So my end goal impact. So a little bit of information on me. I didn't even give you my intro. I'm 20 years old. I'm gonna be 21 in a few weeks, actually. And I'm an entrepreneur. I've started 2 businesses, going on 3. And let's go a little bit back. So my main impact, and one thing that I've considered to be at least my task, my mission, one of my goals, one of my purposes, is to end the family curse of 9-to-5 rat race and being paycheck to paycheck. You know, my family struggles with money all the time, and they do jobs they hate. And I for me, that's soul crushing. When I see this, it kills me. I lose a piece every time when I see this, you know, because it's like, you have one life. Do what you love, you know. So for me, it's like that's my biggest mission right now, is to make sure I'm financially stable doing what I would love, along with unlocking that for my family.
So you want to take care of your family, or you're looking to just change the curse?
Change the curse, and hopefully, you know, be able to supply for my family as well. Not take them all under my wing, but you know, I would love to buy my mom a house. Right. You know, we lived in an apartment, and we still live in an apartment housing. So, you know, like it's very uncomfortable. It's very small, and it's like I want to get out of this situation. Yeah. You know, I want to be like, Mom, here's a house. Thank you for everything. You know, even though we've had rough patches and everything, fuck it.
It's, you know, it's interesting with rough patches, right? Because that's moms, but if you put people who are best of friends in the same room, or in the same atmosphere for too long, you know, you tend to, human beings, we need a little space.
Which is like I mentioned before, me and my best friend, same thing. You know, we're going through some rough patches. He was going through a lot of shit, and you know, even though we're best friends, we have each other's back. But it's like, dude, sometimes, you know, you're going through shit. I'll help you out as much as I can. But as soon as your shit's starting to tie in with me, it's like I gotta kind of back up, you know. And that's what I think happened. And that's where.
So let me ask you this. So, if I were to explain that reaction to you in a way that I did that to Jose.
Okay, explain.
Right, like he's going through some shit, and becomes a little needy.
Okay.
Right, where my energy.
Same thing for my best friend. Yeah.
I met him. I know the energy from it, right? So I could see, and some of us are like that at some times in our life, right? We're a little more needy than others. But other times, you know, my son's got a friend right now that's needy as fuck, dude, and he didn't see it at first, you know. Mm-hmm. But that's like your best friend's purpose is to teach you about your boundaries, maybe. So, and Jose gets needy for me, right? And I'm like, man, this nigga's fucking talking to me a lot, man, and I really can't. I don't want to deal with him. I got to back up, you know, and that means, you know, a couple calls missed, a couple text messages. Even though it's always justified to set your boundaries because you need them, if your boy's in need and that drags you down a little bit, you got to figure out.
Which is exactly what happened, you know, like I'll give you some information on what really happened. Is he was going through a breakup, and he bumped up some weight. So, I mean, kind of fall into a little bit of depression, you know? And it's like, shit, that's my boy, you know? And especially like, because there's 3 of us, there's 3 best friends, me, him, and Ryan. And it's like him being the one that got fit first, you know, he was like more or less the one that took the initiative in the group, you know, to see him like just fall down like that. And it's like, dude, and I'm telling him like, dude, come on, get back in shape, fuck it, it's just another girl, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, nah, he hit down. And it's like, it got to the point where I'm like, down with him, and I'm like, hold up. I can't let my energy get twisted.
Right.
So that's where I took the step back.
So there's.
And then, real quick, this is where like it gets mind-boggling for me. Because at that same time, I was like, nah, I gotta take a break. I stopped taking those calls, stopped answering messages.
So broke up with him.
Yeah, essentially, right? Dude, I started working at the casino. And that's where I meet Jose. Dude, and it was just like when I met you, it was just instant spark. And it was just like, it was just that growth mind and that same mentality. And I was like, maybe I'm supposed to not chill with Miguel, meet Jose, Joel, and everyone else I've met through Jose.
Right.
And then this is the craziest thing. I'm at home one day and I'm like, dude, I feel like I need to talk to Miguel. And I haven't talked to him for like a year and a half. And I'm like, I think now's the time. And I talked to him. He just finished the jiu-jitsu tournament. Dude, mind completely changed.
Yeah.
Positive. He's trying to get back on
He went through some shit, right?
Went through some shit. You saw him with a broken ankle. Yeah. But dude, his mindset is still there. He's still like, dude, he's like, look, this sucks. But I'm not done. Like, I helped him start his first YouTube channel.
Right.
You know, like, and I see the impact that I'm starting to have. And sometimes, and me and him actually talked about this, like, sometimes it gets scary for me though. Because like, it's like I'm having an impact and it's like great, but it's like shit. You know? I don't know. For me, it gets kind of scary.
No,
you know? And especially,
I don't know what the fear is.
Especially it's like with you, you know, I had an impact on you. I'm only 20. You know, so for me it's like, how am I having an impact on you? I don't know if it's just me twisting my own noggin, what it is, just probably overthinking shit.
I think the age part is overthinking.
Yeah.
But like when I listen to Joe Rogan, I listen to this David Goggins, and I'm listening to these guys. You know, there's a perspective change for me, man. My fucking message needs to go out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy's doing it, and I'm like, oh my god, I can do it.
Of course.
And that's the thing, is that's the teach.
Yeah.
You know, like there's old Confucius sayings that the teacher appears when the student's ready.
Yeah. And
if you didn't break up with your boy,
you
might not have had the mind or the time to go meet Jose.
Yeah. And dude, it's crazy because now he's like, dude, like we've sat down and had deep conversations, and he's like, bro, just for this last month we've been chilling, he's like, bro, you've just completely changed my mind. He's like, bro, like, I think this was good that you disappeared. I'm glad I met Joel, and it's like he can see that like it was for the good. You feel me? And I see it too. And it's just like, that's where the whole universe shit comes in here. And it's just like, it just gets bananas, bro.
Dude, all of those things happening. You know, they say people come into your life for a reason, for a season, for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And it's hard to identify the what. You know, because sometimes the people that come in for a reason feel like they're for a lifetime, and they're not. But on the other side of that, like if you're not living in the moment, if you're not being present moment minded, if you're not self-actualized enough, if you're fucking drunk and high and wasted all day long, you're never going to be open enough to identify the intuition, the gut, like you said, I knew I needed to talk to him that day.
Yeah. Dude, like it was the weirdest thing. I was twitching.
That's right. Now listen, dude, imagine babies and cats.
Okay.
Both have that same intuition.
Really?
But they're models of how we should be.
Really?
Dude, you never once in your fucking life hear a baby. I mean, you can't obviously communicate that, but they don't feel bad about crying. They don't feel bad about communicating what they want. They don't think back about how fucked up yesterday was and, oh my God, am I not going to be good tomorrow? They are present moment minded beings. And then society fucking snatches that.
You're so
we take it.
Fucking
so no. You can't be happy for that.
That's mind blowing.
Oh, you want to go run around and be in the woods and enjoy the grass? No, fuck that. Come into class and sit down.
That mind blowing. That shit was just like my brain just went. Holy fuck, you're right. This happens a lot with Joel, by the way. Just saying, there's a lot of mind unlockings and shit. At least for me.
That's funny. That's the goal. I like that. So, yeah, I forgot what I was saying. That was good.
Babies and society coming in here saying you can't fucking be happy.
And being able to identify, being clear enough to identify that I need to move this way, because you can't, like, it's not something that you turn on.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have to figure out that You have to learn to trust your gut again.
Exactly.
Because you get, dude, I mean, by the time you're 15, your gut has scarred you from somebody like.
And it's the craziest thing because I listen to all these successful people and they're like, just trust your gut.
Yeah.
They say it all the time. They're like, when you can be 100% confident in yourself and you can trust what's in there.
The two need each other, because if you're confident in yourself, there's a level of I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Super confident people.
Yeah.
I admire like the fat fuckers that can wear the bikinis and their shit real tight. Dude, I'm nervous now. I'm not sure. Like that level of confidence means you just don't, and it's because you are so in tune with what you want and who you are. I admire that about
you. Don't give a fuck.
My boy Jay, my wife, dude, they know what they want, and they don't. It's not that they don't give a fuck about anyone else, but what they want is what they're going to get.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they're nice people, and what they want is not to hurt. But I admire that because I'm more of the accommodator.
I'm that to an extent, you know, like, dude, I fucking wear whatever, you know, like I don't really give a shit. If you got something to say, goes in and out, you know, unless you say something that really caught my attention where it sticks and it's positive,
right?
Fuck it. Other than that, it's going in and out, you know, but that's to an extent.
No, sure, that's the idea. Tony Robbins talks about how thoughts and words and shit come across our brain, and our choice is what we pull out of that to think about.
Yeah.
Right. So you let some stuff through, and that's what's interesting also, right? Because the things that bug you also have a purpose.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, when you have them, also have a purpose.
Yeah.
Whether that purpose is to just tell you to shut the fuck up inside your head.
Yeah.
Or that purpose is to get you to turn right somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, to save you time, or when you got stuck somewhere, that flat tire, or, you know, and it's tricky, dude. Being able to identify that is hard. For me, it feels like the key to success, because the moment that I stopped worrying so much about what people thought about how I looked, because self-image has been my plague my whole life.
Yeah.
It's my whole life.
For me, that's a huge one too, because now, like, I'm not as fit as I used to be.
Right.
And I can see it's taking a toll on me.
Yeah, you're ugly as fuck, dude. You need to work your muscles in your face.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to really do that shit. I gotta smile more or something, right?
But I got you. So,
you know, and but I feel like, and like you said, everyone has those bad patches, and
let's before we get into bad patches, let's talk about that. So, the feeling you get when you're not happy with the way you look, right, has a purpose.
For me, that's motivation. I look at myself and I'm like, you're a fucking fat school bus. Get to work.
You're a school bus? That's what you call it? A fat school bus? That's
amazing. Big ass school bus, dude.
Dude, I went to fat camp when I was younger. I never heard of fat school bus before. It was fat camp. It was the greatest time of my life.
Really?
Oh my god.
What?
It was amazing.
I've heard of those, but I didn't know they were like really real.
Judgment, dude. Weight Watchers camp. I met friends, dude, that I still talk to today.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it was legit.
Fat camp.
Dude, it was amazing.
That's awesome.
It wasn't called fat camp. They did a movie on MTV about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
So, anyways, I haven't heard about that. And the fat school bus. So,
but you know that, like, I look at myself in the mirror, like, I just dropped weight. I was 230. Now I weighed myself today at 208. And I've been grinding. I'm hitting the gym. I'm running, and I'm like, nah, bro, you gotta get back in shape. You know, because you're not content with yourself, but you can change it. You know, so fucking put in the work.
Right. That's the empowerment, right? That's
exactly.
And, you know, to organizations, people, my company, the idea is that once you're empowered with the decision-making process, that you can influence that.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, dude.
Dude, it is insane. And when I look and compare, when I was super fit, dude, I was on top of the world.
Yeah, Joe Rogan was just talking about David Goggins. You work that out, that you suffer in your head through the training. Yes. You're not everywhere else.
Yes, it's insane. Like, it is insane, because now that I don't work out as much, it's like my head's everywhere. But when I work out, and like when I was super fit, working out hard as fuck, it's like work out, put all the pain in there, and then tackle what I gotta get done. No second thoughts, no fucking distraction. It was just like boom, boom, boom. And it's like, I missed that. So let's get it back. You know? And that applies to anything, you know. When people fall in patches with, they lost their job,
right,
or the whole 9 yards. This can be applied to anything.
So that reminds me. I wanted to talk to you earlier about your friend.
Yeah.
I met a lady today when I was waiting at the.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really meet her, and I wasn't
Chatting.
engaging with her as I usually am with people. But I felt so. For me, there's two kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, this is a huge generalization. Picture a huge hole in the ground.
Okay.
Just a huge hole. It's fucking a 20-foot diameter, 18-foot hole.
Shit. Okay.
And there's a ladder.
Okay.
From the top to the bottom. And the bottom of that hole is where we are emotionally when we're sad and depressed.
Okay.
Every single human being will experience that in their life.
Yes.
It's just part, dude, the chemical side of it, your body, thyroid is going to change. You're going to feel depression.
Yes.
The two different kinds of people is that most of us, not everybody has friends or anyone that's willing to help them. When you reach to help someone who's down, and you reach down on that ladder, that person is going to want to do one of two things. Use you to help come up, or use you to try to pull you down. And if you can identify that, then you know which one to let go.
Mm.
And that's really the trick in it, right? Like the people that are around you, you've chosen that. You've attracted that. And did you attract them there because, like, did you have that need to talk to your boy that day because that was for you or because you were for him? Like, he needed you more.
Yeah.
Right? But you needed him for the reflection because without him sort of validating, look at the difference. Because none of us know the old Raph.
Yeah.
Only he does. And that validation is real shit. For me,
and that's the thing. I also felt like it was needed for myself too, because I was also fighting some demons. Not as much,
right.
You know, because I've overcome a lot with this last year and a half. But yeah, dog, I felt like it was only some things that I could talk to him about because you just wouldn't know. You weren't there back then when I was fucking doing all my nonsense and who I was before then, you know? So talking to him was like a real slap in the face because he can give me the cold truth reality and I can do the same.
Yeah.
Check
you on your shit.
Exactly. Right. You know, and I feel like everyone should have that one friend that's just like, yo, this is what it is, brother. You know? And I honestly feel like everyone should be like that.
Well, so that's interesting. That's sort of what my life coaching business is.
Yeah.
People paying me to help give them the real shit, right? Yeah. Right. Because you don't have to be a dick, but
no, not a dick, but just
sometimes you're that motherfucker. You're being a dumbass.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people just take it like that, you know. You just they need to hear it, you know.
That's even I in learning about myself and talking to other people and in teaching. If the message bothers you, that's the lesson.
Yeah.
That's and lessons don't mean you've learned. Lessons are part of the teaching program.
Yeah.
If it's bugging you, then
you need to see what is going on.
That's right, because if you find that it's probably something you would like to change.
Yeah.
And that's where change management comes.
So, yeah. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Whatever's bugging you is the lesson. So you need to sit down and see what the fuck's going on.
That's right.
Wow. Never thought about it.
And it's difficult because when you're in the middle of it, right? Like,
oh yeah, I mean,
you have someone on your shoulder going, no, wait, just think. Is there a bigger reason for this?
That's really, the voice doesn't come in that often.
Oh my God.
You're just in it. You're like,
that's part of the practice, right? Like we're talking earlier about intuition. Like you need times like your friend, you need moments where I needed to call him and the purpose behind that, validation for the gut. Yeah. We need more of those validations so we can trust our gut more because
exactly.
We live in a, I guess, I don't know if the wording is abstract world, but we like to see what things are going to do for us.
Yeah.
And if we can't really see, we're not sure. We just have to trust that the faith. It's hard, man. It's hard, even with illness, dude. You know, like for the kind of cancer I had, Justin's transplant. If you get biliary atresia, you need a transplant. You get the transplant, you manage it this way. You get thyroid cancer, they pull the thyroid out. You go through radiation treatment. You go through a process after that. You'll be good to go. You could see it, and there was so much comfort in that. The other side of that, oh, hey, you have a disease and we're not really sure how to manage it.
Fuck.
Right. Now it's like, whoa.
What the fuck?
And life is the same way. The only control you have is how you perceive it.
Yeah.
And if you're grateful for all of the things that happen, like, dude, this morning I was leaving Dunkin' Donuts and it was a bad experience at Dunkin' Donuts for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never take coffee back, but they gave me a decaf and I just can't like force new flavor. And they hooked it up, no problems. Get in the car, go back and run. I get in front of somebody who did. This lady was waiting to take a right, fucking like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, give her a little beep, and dude, she gives me the finger.
Oh fuck!
What the fuck is the purpose in that shit? You know what I mean?
Like
really, man. Like, but
you don't know what she's going through.
That's right. I was
right now
mad,
she's
dude.
probably on the phone.
I was mad for like 2 minutes, pissed. Like, oh man, I'll. Yeah. But there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know what the reason is. You know, but I was pissed off. I lost faith for a little minute. Maybe I don't know what a little minute is, but maybe there is
some old.
like let's say I wasn't. Maybe I'm wiping off karma.
Could be
for all the assholeness I did.
Could be. You
know, and then in which case, thank you. The challenge with karma is like the real truth. Karma is that you earn karma over lifetimes.
That's the bitch. Fuck.
So what you do now and what you do, who knows? But if you can help, you should.
Yeah.
Well, you can't force people to be helpful.
You can, yeah.
Or can you? The Chinese, The Art of War. You heard about this book by Lao Tzu? The Art of War. It's a centuries-old book written by one of China's great Confucius philosophers about war.
Okay.
And it talks about a social credit, that if you force people to behave a certain way, eventually they will just be that way. China now has a social score, like a credit score. What? You don't volunteer, you're an asshole, you get arrested for stuff, you lose in your social score. And that impacts your taxes. And so they're forcing the people to be nicer, which forces you to act kinder to people.
Yeah.
So I'm not agreeing with it.
Okay.
And I don't think that ultimately...
that's essentially making robots. You kind of put into perspective.
That's right, because naturally sometimes people are dicks.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you need dicks in the world just because, that dick is going to teach you a lesson.
That's a lot. That's a big statement. I'm going to snip
that out. At least for me.
I'm going to snip that out and post that on your Instagram. Sometimes you need a dick.
Sometimes you need a douchebag. That's the substitute word.
So if that wasn't the case, then the tragedy in the world loses its purpose. Because we're talking about accidents, right? Or no accidents. Let's go with the Holocaust, right? I have family that had, their fucking gravestones were used as bricks in the street for the Nazis. Like they were killed and murdered. And God didn't screw up, the universe didn't make a mistake, and it all just grow this big, there was a purpose behind that. I don't know what it is. Oftentimes behind the greatest tragedy, there comes the greatest peace.
Mm-hmm.
But what the fuck? 9/11?
Yeah.
Forget about the purpose, like how it happened or who did it or who let what. Those 3,000 people, and then all of the thousands that are sick and dying from that shit, have a purpose, and a lot of that is fostered inspiration. Yeah. Dude, all the guys when they came home from World War II, right? There were no suburban areas.
Okay.
There was no suburbia. The surgery, the tools, the housing, everything they learned over there, they brought home, and it made this country.
Okay. Sure.
Not that I would say, listen, the 50 million people that died in World War II were worth it. I think ultimately those wars are dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Because they're guys fighting over land that they should be sharing.
Yeah.
I also believe there should be governance because people are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some people that are that need police intervention.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was going to get into a talk about change and organizational change, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to leave it because I like the content of our podcast.
Yeah, really good.
And again with the raw part of it, trying to figure out what people want to listen to.
Yeah.
I have a hard time ever listening to a 3-hour podcast at once. So I wonder, is the hour or the 30 minutes or the 4? I don't know yet. Still trying to figure it out. There's research showing that YouTube videos, the most viewed videos now, 30 minutes long.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you got? You got any questions?
No, I like the little run we just had.
You like that? You feel good, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this change thing for something else. I think that's about it.
Yeah, for sure.
This podcast should have certainly left some people with something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully our stories and testimonials touch a few people. And
that's the goal, right? Is that people getting off going, man, wow, everything does that. Whoa.
Mm.
And then right before they get done, what I would really hope they do is they go to Eventbrite and they look up the Change Mastery Luncheon and they buy tickets.
Yeah.
And then come have lunch with me and they change their life in 3 hours. You're going to walk out of that seminar with tools and resources that are going to help you deal with change. As soon as you walk out of the seminar, you'll be able to deal with things in your life differently.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to start pushing out my flyers and get the seminar rolling and see how many people we can impact.
For sure.
So thank you guys for taking a moment, or 51 moments, and listening to us. If you'd like to advertise with us, reach out. dynamicimpact.co, donatelife8703@gmail.com, fadimpact@gmail. Find us. You should have subscribed. I hope you subscribe.
Drop a like.
Yep. Drop a like. And have a great day. Stay grateful. We'll be back on soon. And again, thank you. So, what have we got? Stop that.